All right, so welcome to the Paragon podcast. Today, we are going to talk about something that I've been actually really excited to talk about is kind of camera equipment, what a business actually needs to get started. Is a phone good enough? And what's actually really interesting is we have our 3 camera set up all running, and we have phones also doing the same thing right above the camera. So we're going to see kind of what both of them look like when we have I don't know how much the Blackmagic is. How much is it?
All geared out, it costs us like $6,000.
Okay, like a $6,000 camera. We have a couple $1,000 cameras, and then we have our obviously $1,000 phones. Samsung Ultras, and we have Samsung, iPhone, and Motorola, and so it'll be really interesting to kind of see all of it. Me and Jameis, we know enough to be dangerous, but definitely not enough to really know anything about camera equipment. So yeah, if you guys just want to introduce yourself and kind of talk about your experience as well, so we can kind of set a baseline for, obviously, we know nothing, you guys know stuff.
Yeah, so I'm Wesley. I've been working here at Social Paragon for almost, 7 years now?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I worked on a lot of movies in college. I've worked on, hundreds of commercials and stuff. And so I come from kind of a big crew kind of set world and have moved down into where now we're doing like 1-man, 2-man shoots and stuff. And so I've kind of had the breadth of shoots working with Red cameras and Arri cameras and Sonys and Blackmagics all the way down to, your Canon Rebels and stuff and your phones. So it's kind of my experience.
Cool.
So I'm Jake. I've been working here for about a little over 2 years now, and I was a little different than Wesley. I think I started out doing kind of solo things. I haven't really worked in like a big production team. I've done a lot of weddings. I've done a couple music videos. I've done home videos with like products and things like that, but I've definitely seen the range of working with a phone compared to like a Sony. I've worked with some Reds and some cinema cameras, so I've definitely seen like the difference between them, but also what you can achieve with what you got.
Right. No, that's super cool. And so I guess what's the kind of just jumping into it? I mean, obviously everybody's got a phone, right? But obviously cameras have a place as well. What's the biggest difference between, say, the top currently phone and just a camera in general? What's the biggest difference?
I mean, the biggest 2 things that come to mind, right, is interchangeable lenses. Obviously, they have lens mounts for phones and stuff, but that's a lens on top of a lens that you're doing, right? Which can work, and obviously it does work, and, those shot on iPhone commercials that they make are pretty awesome. So you can do awesome stuff with it. The next big thing, though, and honestly, I think the main thing that always is going to hold phones back is the sensor size. Mm-hmm. Just from how small that lens is and, how much room you have on your phone, your sensor can only be, tiny. It can't be massive, whereas like on like a lot of, if you compare, the biggest movie stuff that we see is IMAX cameras, right? You got 70 millimeters of it instead, and that just creates a very different feel.
So is it safe to say that a DSLR camera a cell phone camera will never get to the point of an actual DSLR
it depends on what you're wanting.
Okay.
Right? If you want really shallow depth of field and stuff, you can't match it with the smaller sensor size. So until someone makes a phone that the whole back is a sensor, right, is a massive sensor, which could be done, but you're actually putting a lens on it, I would say no. But that's the thing, is it'd have to be, a phone that is very much made to be a camera.
Right.
It'd be a cool idea.
That's a cool concept.
Could you imagine turning your phone around and just seeing
the whole thing is a lens?
Your pop socket comes off, right? And then
it's just
a giant.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
One day.
Yeah. The biggest thing holding that back, honestly, is heat. That's one of the reasons that you see, like, with our different cameras. The 2 on the side we have here are micro Four Thirds sensors, and so they're a lot smaller. And then the one we have in the back is a full frame, and it's about 4 times as big almost, I'd say, and 3 times as big. And a lot of that is just to get the heat dissipated off of it.
Yeah, and I mean, just like Wesley said, I think it just depends on what you're filming.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, they use phones use some AI and things like that to create some cinematic looks with like shadow, depth of field. But if you were going to compare a shot from a DSLR, even a cheap $500 camera, $1,000 camera, to a phone camera, like, you'll notice the difference.
Right.
Yeah, and the nice thing though about a phone, right, is it is using that AI, so you get it's gonna make your stuff look nice right out front. Whereas a lot of working with other cameras, we have to do more editing. It doesn't have the AI pre-editing for you, and so you do have that advantage with phones. So.
Right. I mean, one big advantage with phones is you always have one.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you can't, like, camera doesn't fit in my pocket, right? But a
Mhm.
phone does. And so kind of leads me to my next question. You know, when should somebody think about trying to get stuff, or should, is filming with a phone good enough for, like, say, a business application, posting on social media, can they film with a phone?
I think so. I think right. Like, I don't think there's really again, it comes back to what you're filming, right? Like, phones look great. Like, I went to Disneyland and I took my phone because I was like, I'm not bringing my whole camera to Disneyland, because I wanted to create a family video. So I got my phone. There's apps on your phone where you can, like, download that. You can, like, change manual settings on your camera to make it look a little better.
Mm-hmm.
And I downloaded an app called Blackmagic app, filmed at Disneyland, edited the video, and when I put it on social media, like, I put it on Instagram, like, it looks great. So, my opinion, yeah, I don't think businesses need to go out and buy tens and thousands of dollars of camera equipment. They can just use what you have in your pocket.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends. Again, right? If you want it just for social media, if it's just talking head social media type stuff, you're just talking to someone, or, like, just anything silly on social media, that's great on your phone. If you're trying to create something that is, a narrative, and you want it to feel more like a commercial, something that feels bigger production, then you're gonna need to go bigger, right? So it's your goals in the end.
So maybe give, like, some examples of when a business, depending on the industry, can use a cell phone rather than a camera.
I mean, I think, like, any event you're at, right, you could definitely be filming on your phone to get a lot of footage. And you want to highlight, hey, look at this event we were at. That's a great time to have your phone. Again, anytime you're gonna be, I think if you're just gonna talk to the camera, that's a great time to have your phone and stuff. Anything that's quick, that feels more live streamy, I think those are great phone moments.
Day to day, I think. Like, you think about some of our clients do, like, they wrap cars, right? So, like, showing before and afters. Like, sometimes it takes time to do those. You can even set up a phone and do a time lapse. Those are really cool on social media to watch. So, like, just those day to day video. You're a plumber, just film what you're doing. Put your phone on a little tripod and film it, right? So I think every day-to-day type content, like, use your phone.
So you brought up tripod, right? I mean, if you're working, if you're somewhere that you literally, like, you're gonna be there, what kind of extra equipment do they need to create good quality videos rather than just a phone?
So, I mean, I always say the first thing you need to get is a mic.
Okay.
Your audio is the first thing people will notice that looks really bad. I mean, your footage people see, but it's just kind of expected in a lot of places anyways. Whereas if you have bad audio, people switch right away. So I would always, if you're talking, get a lav mic. I mean, if you have a space that you're just going to be set up and you can get, like, a nice shotgun into you, that's great. But mic is the first upgrade. First thing, I wouldn't even call it an upgrade. I feel like it's the most necessary thing beyond a phone.
Okay.
I mean, on social media, it's all information now. So if they can't hear you and they don't know what you're saying, you're irrelevant.
Okay.
They're going to skip right past you. So, yeah, I would say audio for sure, just because, I mean, you can find, and again, there's a lot of lav mics that can just directly connect to your phone that are pretty cheap on Amazon. And so you don't have to go out and spend $500. You can go and spend, like, $25.
Okay.
And have good enough audio.
Okay. That was actually being my next question, because obviously you see all the influencers with Rhodes or whatever, and they'll clip their hats or their,
I
But,
hate
like,
the hat thing so much, dude.
Sam Sulek is not your friend. That's what Sam
mean,
Sulek was.
Or the gym, yeah.
I just want to put it like if you want to use the Rode, I actually like using just the Rode Goes,
Okay.
and then you can use a lav mic through it, or you can just clip it and it's just the clip on the outside. I
Right,
think
right,
looks
right.
fine. So
Oh, but those are $200
Yeah, I wouldn't
Like-
spend that.
more, right? And so I mean, if
Yeah.
somebody's
but you don't have to get that.
okay, and maybe we put some, I don't know, Amazon ones kind of in the screen or something, just
Mm.
so people can kind of see it. Especially when you go, audio is so important. If you have garbage audio, like nobody's gonna watch your videos, right? Like, potentially what $20 mic or $30 mic or whatever could be good,
Yeah.
something like that.
And
So-
again, right, like there's you can always get better. Like
Right.
that bass mic, you're gonna tell the difference, but you just don't want it like right now. All the phones are really far away, and people would be able to tell really fast.
Right.
And so if the phone's not within like a foot of your face, that's really what you want is a mic that's like that. So.
It's so distracting too, because I've
Yeah,
watched
exactly.
videos like if we were to pull one of these phones right here and then just post that, like and try to fix the audio, it just sounds like so mumbled and it just distorted. It's just too distracting.
So then there's kind of another. I mean, I've seen people use the bottoms of their phones.
Yeah.
And hand back and forth their phones. So could that potentially work if somebody had just another phone kind of laying around?
Yeah, I mean
And they
that
were-
can work. I think another phone is more expensive than a mic.
Right. Well, if you
And-
just had
and
one
you-
laying around, you don't.
and you're
yeah.
and it's a tiny little hole, right?
Right, right,
compared to you're gonna get a little more audio. So I would lean towards the mic. But if literally you need to record something, you're like, I need a slightly better audio. You have a phone in there, do it. Yeah.
It literally saved me one time because I was filming a wedding once and the vows got erased. And I messaged the bride and I was like, I'm so sorry. But they had their vows written down. I was like, can you just record your vow? And she's like, do I need to meet you somewhere? And I was like, no, just do it on your phone. And I didn't really notice a difference. It was fine. I was able to clean it up to sound good. So
That's cool.
Okay.
So other than mics, what would be the next thing you'd encourage?
I'd say lights. So I mean, depending again on your video, right? If you're doing event stuff, then lights aren't going to help you a ton.
Right.
But I think the next thing is making you look nice. So a lighting setup.
Like a ring light or like a light, like a big light, like.
Again, what you need, you
Okay.
know. Ring lights are pretty. They're also really one-dimensional feeling, I
Okay.
think, because it's just a flat look, right? Which is great for if you're doing makeup stuff. But if you're trying to get something a little more dynamic, then I would look for more of a kit.
Okay.
I mean, most people talk about if you go into film or anything, 3-point lighting is a big thing. But I feel like if you are doing a bunch of talking heads and you're like, I need a nice light, the biggest thing is a key light, at least first. Because then you can use, sometimes people will do they'll just get what we call a bounce and just bounce light off something that's just white. And then they'll use the outdoor lighting on the side to kind of backlight them. And so, yeah, I would focus on, if you are getting a light, I would focus on a bigger light, but again, you can find those pretty cheap. But kind of like what Wesley said, if you're just doing small tutorials and you're not really doing a lot of talking heads, a ring light is fine.
And lights are relatively cheaper than a lot of these mics.
Then the mics.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, if you're gonna versus this Procaster, right? I mean, this is what $250, I think. I mean, I think you probably want to be in the $200 range at least for lights, I would guess.
Yeah. I mean, there's some cheap ones on Amazon, but a lot of them
You're
are
just not gonna
panel
have them for
lights.
very long.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say really minimum probably $200 for a light would be my starting point. I would want to go higher, but
Okay. So at what point do you guys think that somebody should, and maybe somebody's never created video content before, right? Should they just start filming something with their phone, bare bones, a phone and audio, right? Some lav mics. And at what point do they need to either upgrade or hire somebody who has nicer stuff,
Yeah.
good equipment? At what point do you think that is?
yeah, I mean, there's a couple ways to go about that, I think. One, working with someone, right, you can get advice from them and just up your game immediately, but you're also getting to bounce some ideas off people and stuff. I think the biggest point of moving up, if you just start making something, you can start to see what people are actually interested in instead of spending a lot of money to make something that no one actually cares about. So if you start getting traction on something, that's when I'd be like, okay, I have something that people care about. let's start adding some quality to it.
That makes sense.
Along with that, I'd say time too, right? Like especially if you're trying to look to hire someone, like if you are making a lot of content and you're just like, man, I'm getting too much leads, or people are attracted to my videos and they're buying my product or coming to me now. It's like I have no time to create social media now. So it's like I think time as well is a place to be like, okay, I need some help.
When I talk about equipment, especially with like potential clients and stuff like that, I always bring up Mr. Beast. I don't know have you guys seen Mr. Beast's first videos?
You showed it to me, yeah.
I mean, and for all of you guys out there, maybe we can link it, but Mr. Beast's first videos, like I think one of them he counted from 1 to 1,000,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
It was like an hour or 2 hour video, but like it was grainy. It was on like a really cheap,
Is a webcam.
like a
it looks
webcam. Yeah, I mean it was bad, right? And then the second one he made was saying Logan Paul like 10,000 times because that was a big thing. Logan Paul, I mean he's big now, but he's big then too. He kind of had a little bit of a dip in his career, but those were his first videos, right? I mean, literally like the barest bones videos, and now he's spending $3 million remaking Squid Games. You know, I mean it's crazy, and so I mean, there's definitely, you know, I like how you said, you know, it depends on kind of where you're at, but I think the biggest thing is just to create some content. You know, like let's just get going. Start.
Yeah, and I mean, I think most people in a business probably don't want that grainy.
Right.
You know, they want to
right.
look a little more polished than that.
I don't think you could get the grainy nowadays, can
I
you?
don't
you
think
definitely
so.
can. 100%.
Can you?
I could get it on
Maybe
this
on a
camera
flip
if I
phone.
want.
Yeah.
But I think
Did you just say on this camera?
on the Blackmagic, I can make it grainy.
Never mind.
Yeah, on the Motorola.
He's like, on the
There's two different
Motorola.
razors, right? The old pink one. You remember those?
I mean, that's what that thing
That's
is,
basically
basically.
what it is, yeah.
So most businesses want to start at a certain point, right? And I think that most cameras can start at that point. Most phone cameras, as long as you're in good lighting, right? I think the reason that one is super grainy is that isn't he in like a dark room and he's just lit by his screen?
Yeah, it wasn't super dark. I mean, his lights were on, but it's just like the top lights.
But yeah, so I mean, that's actually the biggest problem that cameras have. I mean, it's not really cameras; it's all vision, right? Is the less light there is, the harder it is to see stuff, and so
Right. So it's not all the camera. It's they can, you know, invest in equipment that can make a relatively average camera look like a better shot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you like Roger Deakins, who a lot of people would say is the greatest cinematographer of all time, right? He said like he didn't care what he shot on. You know, he could shoot on an iPhone, and this is back in like 2014. He said this, right? So and this is the man. Like he's really cool dude. You should definitely watch all of his movies. But he, when they first moved to digital, needed things that on set that sounded like film. He like I don't remember if he had like just something in his ear or if he actually had something near that would to sound like
he
it.
missed that noise.
Yeah, and so but he said like I don't care the camera. I just want to make sure that it suits whatever mode, whatever story we're telling. That's all that he cared about. And so, you know, obviously he's not going to shoot like Blade Runner 2049 on a camera like that because you're not going to get that. But it really just depends on the setting, I think. But you can have something beautiful from a really crappy camera.
Yeah.
That's I think one thing I would tell businesses if they're like, oh, I just want this to look great. I'm just gonna go buy a $5,000 camera. Like if you do not know what you're doing with the camera, like an iPhone can look better.
It will
sometimes.
look better.
Yeah,
100%
right? Like if
will.
you don't know what you're doing with the equipment, then it's like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, we even get stuff from like I see shoots from videographers, right, that don't know how to use their log footage that they're getting, and so I'm like, I would have preferred you shooting on your phone than this because you didn't know how to use log, and then the way you colored it. So
Okay, this reminds me. There are movies out there that are coming out, and they say we actually filmed either all of it or most of it on an iPhone. What was it, 28 days later, 28
Seems
years
like
later?
iPhone propaganda.
I think
but
part of it.
I
Yeah,
promise
it's part-
I think it's part of
I
it.
saw it
I do
online.
know.
So here, I don't
And
know if
everything
you've,
online
I don't
is
know if you've
true.
seen the rig on that. The rig that because it's a specific shot that.
Do you know what I'm talking about, though? 28 years later?
Yes,
They
it's a
used-
specific shot they did, and it's actually I think like 20 iPhones all at once that
Okay.
they composited together.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's a
Yeah.
pretty wild,
Right.
but yeah, they did that kind of as a publicity, like the way they marketed it.
It's a publicity stunt. To
because
just get-
again,
yeah.
if you're using 10 to 20 phone cameras, it's like a rig that was like around their face that goes like it's like 180 degrees. So
Wow.
it's a pretty interesting thing that they did. So I don't remember all the specifics. I haven't actually seen the movie, so I don't know what the effect did in the end. But it was for a specific effect.
What was the one movie? It was shot on the FX3. Can't remember. It was some space movie, but it was shot a couple years ago, and it was shot on like a $3,000 camera. And
Well,
so,
I mean, tons of the Netflix ones are on low-budget cameras now.
Well, what I think wasn't Game of Thrones filmed with the black magic.
Yeah, so they used it in, and it's not this one. It predates this one.
Okay.
But it was in specific shots. Avengers did too. The Blackmagic Pocket, which was an $800 camera. They actually did it because they put it in, like, you know, the scene in Avengers: Age of Ultron where it's like the end scene where everything's breaking. They're in the, you know, sky. They put it. There's a bunch of shots that are just shooting outside of a car, and that car gets smashed. And so, knowing that the camera could take damage, they bought a bunch of the like Blackmagic Pockets and shot with that. So, but I mean, you would never know. It's a great shot.
Yeah,
and
no,
so
yeah.
because I mean that thing shot raw log, and so you could figure it like they could make it look really good. So
Right, and we're talking about like, I mean, the black magic you said was what, $6,000? I mean, all together with and
with the lenses,
and the lens is probably more expensive than the actual housing itself.
So I think just the Blackmagic it was $2,500.
Yeah.
And then I have one lens that I think was $1,800, and then the other one that this is on right now is closer to $1,000.
But and then you also have and then you have your $1,000 phone, right? Which kind of the average price for like the, you know, whatever the flagship phones. But then you have the Red, right? Or like an Airy. Like, what are those priced out at? Like the.
Yeah, I mean, if you just want like the lowest Red right now, the Komodo.
$5,000.
Yeah, it's 5,000.
Maybe. Actually, I think it might be $3,000.
Is it three?
It could
Yeah,
be
I mean, ever
$3,000.
since Nikon bought Red,
Yeah.
it's kind of lowered the prices on stuff because they're trying to not just be the pros; they're trying to reach out to prosumers a lot more. And that's Nikon, because Nikon's always been on the photo side. They've had video, and no one's really adopted it, and so they bought Red to get into that. So you're losing some features. I don't even think it shoots Red RAW from what we've used.
Yeah.
So they have the Komodo X, and then the Raptor and the Raptor X. Those are kind of their four ones that are running now. And so yeah, it's like $3,000, $3,000 to $5,000. We'd have to check. Up to I think the Raptor's like
40?
40,000.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy.
and then
I mean, what? Aries or what?
Well, most Aries, you honestly like the Aries 65. Like, I mean, the full name, right? It's their large format camera that they're using for IMAX stuff now. You can't buy it. If they did sell it, they say it'd be probably $65,000. But you can only get it from rental houses. You cannot
interesting.
actually buy the camera.
But kind of the point is that there's very expensive ways.
Yeah.
Or there's a lot of ways to spend a lot of money in this.
Yeah.
And
A lot of ways to waste your money.
Waste.
too.
Thank you. It's a lot. And to be honest, 90% of the population probably it's going to be a waste if you buy
Yeah.
a
Well,
ton of
yeah.
steel.
I mean, if you buy a Red, like, and you don't know what you're doing in color afterwards, you're going to be really pissed.
Right.
So.
But we've also learned there are ways to save, almost cut corners, and save money, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's watching stuff on their phone now, so you don't need to buy a Red.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, right? Your phone most of the time displays 720p.
That's
It's
an
not,
awesome point.
not even full HD that you're watching on your phone most of the time, just unless you're adjusting your settings.
And so at what point, like, does 4K, filming in 4K, or what, can we go up to 6 and 8K now?
Yeah, I mean, this camera is 6K. The Reds shoot 8K. I mean, the
Reds
Black
shoot-
Magic, they have a 17K Black Magic. So,
Like, at what point does that even freaking matter? Because, like, I think my phone was marketed that it films 8K.
Yeah.
I think,
Mhm,
right?
it
But, like,
was.
They just say that.
what is it?
I
what
mean,
does
it helps
matter?
if you have to like zoom in at all,
Yeah,
right? You're
Sure.
gonna lose quality. So
Right.
I mean, if you're shooting like, say, a podcast on your phone, right? But every time someone is talking, you want to zoom in on them. If you're shooting at 1080, you're gonna lose a bunch of quality.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't ever want to export below a 1080 resolution, and so, and that the other part of that too is lots of times we're shooting both for vertical and horizontal,
Right.
and so your vertical on a 1080 is only 1080 pixels tall. So then I don't even know what that's going to be smaller than 720 because 720 is actually 1280 by 720. They got smart when they get to 4K and they started measuring the long way instead of the tall way. if you crop into a 1080 image for vertical, you're not even at that full 720. So you're below HD standards.
And people are just watching it on a phone and not caring.
Well,
at all.
most people I think that shoot horizontal and vertical do 4K, right?
Okay.
For that reason, because your vertical is 2160, so you're just slightly higher than that 1920 that is. So
Okay.
That's one thing to remember too. If you are using your phone, look at your settings.
Mhm.
Because I've talked to a lot of people and they're like, I'm like changing 4K, I'm changing the frame rate, I'm changing all this stuff. And they're like, what are you doing? Like
Right.
they just go on their video and just click record.
Right.
Yeah,
They don't
it-
know
check
half the
those things.
features their
It-
phone offers.
it starts out. All three of our phones when I went to record this were set to full HD, not to ultra 4K. So I had to go through and set each one of them to 4K. So it comes out of the box in HD.
And mine, the Samsung, you set for 8K, right?
Somewhere.
He's over here just-
You can round up more if you'd like.
Okay.
Cool. So we've talked about time, when to potentially upgrade. Best beginner equipment, we kind of covered that as well. Do you know of any actual? I mean, we've kind of talked about movie sets using kind of smaller cameras and stuff like that. Do you know of any, I guess, instance that somebody has purely used a phone or just as little as as cheap equipment as possible and was successful?
Tons on YouTube and Instagram and
Yeah.
TikTok, right? Yeah, for sure.
And they're just using that stuff. And so what would your advice be to a business owner, I guess, that has never made video equipment, has been preached to create video equipment or to make video content from literally everybody. What should they do? What's your go-to kind of start here?
I would tell them to find something that makes them different, stick with it, and keep creating content on that subject.
Okay,
Yeah.
well then what about equipment? Should they just use their phone? Should they go and try to find a cheaper camera on KSL or freaking, Craigslist or?
If they're starting out, just use your phone, but I would recommend a lav mic or some mic that connects to their phone.
Yeah, and I think, again, it totally depends on your goals of what you're shooting.
Mhm.
If you're just talking to the camera, yeah, do your phone.
So it sounds like you'd argue it's more what you're filming and not what you're filming with, especially at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Beginning for sure, 100%.
Well, I mean, even at the end, right?
Yeah,
There-
In the
it's
end,
more
there's-
important for what you're providing
Totally.
than what it looks like.
There's a lot of movies out there that are, especially even student ones that you could say, right, are shot on really, really nice equipment that the studio or
beautifully, yeah.
your school has, and
It's hard to watch.
they don't know. Well, that's what they cared about in production, and then it could have been beautiful, but there's so much more to it, right?
Yeah.
Learning the aspects of how to make something pretty, all of the different 7 aspects of what makes video and photos matter. So
Yeah, some poor execution.
It's always that thing I see of people just commenting on photographers. Man, your camera takes great pictures. Like, the camera didn't do it, I did it. And so you got to remember that. You got to learn.
Cool. Any other last minute advice? Last thing you guys want to kind of say about equipment? Any last nuggets of knowledge you want to share?
I mean, I could talk about equipment all day. So the more we could talk about equipment, the better. I was that student that shot bad stuff originally. Right?
With
The
expensive
truth is
equipment.
coming
I
out.
loved the equipment, right? I mean, I learned, but
Trial by fire.
yeah, so just do it. Just make something, and again, find something that people are interested in, and then you can start investing in it.
Just make some freaking content.
Did
That's
you write?
the freaking point?
Did you write all that down? Take all those notes?
Yep. I wrote all of it down on my expensive piece of digital paper. So thanks. This has been another episode of the Paragon podcast on equipment. Equipment, honestly, it's a funny thing, and seriously, I talk to clients all the time, and they go, "Oh, well, I need this. I need to film in this." To be honest, a lot of times it's not necessary, And so, thanks for kind of talking about the equipment and kind of where companies can start, and hopefully this just allows people to start creating video content, because I mean, social media is not going anywhere. AI is real. Us kind of unplugging and plugging into, literally plugging into phones or things that are on your eyes and seeing stuff is coming. And so just start creating video content. So again, another episode of Social Paragon Podcast. Thanks for joining.